We have been celebrating what has been a fantastic year of athletics in 2021, but we wanted to sit down with our male and female World Athletics Athlete of the Year, Karsten and Elaine, to get a little bit more information about the fantastic year they've both had.
So Karsten and Elaine, congratulations on winning the World Athlete of the Year awards.
Thank you.
Karsten, this must feel like a very proud moment for you after literally running after chasing this award for the past 3 years.
Absolutely. This award has been on my bucket list, especially since, I got the Rising Star Award some years back, and I feel like it's even better when you can complete that because, the Rising Star is an award to show that you're on the right path. But this award shows that also, I managed to take the big step into, being an elite senior athlete as well. So it's a very proud moment for me, and I cherish and I really appreciate that World Athletics is giving me this award.
And Elaine, it's been quite the year for women in athletics. There have been performances from so many outstanding athletes. Yulimar with 2 world records by Sydney, 3 Olympic medals from Sifan. So for you to win World Athlete of the Year in such an outstanding year, it must feel really special.
Wow, it is really special for me knowing that, I'm up against a lot of phenomenal women, to capture double, repeat my title, World Lead 10.54, it's just an amazing feeling. And the season it was a tough one, coping with the COVID and the whole, works of it, but we went out there with our heart and our soul, and we did put on a show, even though we hadn't in the crowd at the championship, but we still put out the work that we had put in for months and days. I know most of us were very excited and happy that we had that year off. Well, it was a year off, not doing a championship, I was so happy. I was in boots, recovering from my Achilles injury, so to come back, dominating my title, of course, and compete against this phenomenal woman for this title. It's a surreal feeling and happy, and I'm proud.
As you say, you really did put on a show for the world. What you achieved in Tokyo is monumental. As you say, you retained your 100-meter title, you retained your 200-meter title, and you turned Rio's silver into gold. And no woman in the history of the sport has ever been able to do that. Are you able to put into words how much work and dedication it took to achieve this historic feat?
It's a lot of work, human nature kicks in multiple times for me, not knowing that I could achieve my double title, But I still continue to work, even though it was challenging for me coping with this Achilles injury. You kind of sprint at times, you may not be able to walk properly. So for me, looking back on my entire career, it's amazing for me. Excuse me, the struggle for me not being my best for the past 5 years, I was once here, 2016, for the nominee. I was a nominee, so to come back this year and to be nominated again, 5 years later, it's wonderful for me to be amongst these athletes in the world, not just my country, in the world. So it's just a great feeling, that the work that I have put in, I actually see the result that I got.
And then after blowing our minds in Tokyo, you came back, 3 weeks later, and produced the fastest time for 33 years. Can you try and convey to us what 10.54 feels like?
So,
did you know? No, really?
I'm going to be honest. When I crossed that line, I did not see that time. I think my homegirl saw the time, and I saw Brianna was like this. I didn't pay it any mind until I saw that 10.54. I was sluggish. I felt slow. I thought that race was not the perfect race for me, but it was. And based on what I have learned over the years, that sometimes it's not the perfect race. You end up running fast. It's a race that you most feel uncomfortable when you're doing the right thing. When you're sprinting, you may not think that you think you're supposed to be comfortable, but sprinting is supposed to be uncomfortable. You're doing a mechanic which is not something that is normal for us. So I was feeling so awkward. I felt very slow. And slow running 10.54, that is amazing for me. So I was overwhelmed, elated, excited, everything. So
I've got to say, that wasn't the answer I was expecting.
No, and I think that indicates there's so
that's
much
why
more to
I
come,
want to be
though.
honest. I felt very sluggish and slow, and I said that to my friend. I said I felt slow, and the race was very perfect, but just that's how I feel.
Because I've heard a lot of people say in warm-up, you can feel really off and then produce an exceptional performance.
Yeah,
But actually,
and I have that
in the
multiple
performance-
times. Sometimes on the warm up, I felt great, but whenever I run that race, it's not how I expected it to be, So it's on and off. But that one was not the one I expected.
Excellent. So I think I counted 15 times under 11 seconds this year.
I was not counting, but if I could count, I think you're right.
But it's the level of consistency, and again, just try and explain what it takes to be that consistent time and time again.
I think for me, winning your first race, you get a lot of motivation from that, It gives you more pep. Okay, I'm ready for the next one. So each one comes, you want to be better. Every time I go out there, I want to be a better version of myself. So if I race tomorrow or today, I want to be better than the person I was. So I try to compete with myself as well, try to nail every race I get.
Back to Karsten. You won the Rising Star Award in 2017. And now, 4 years later, a full Olympic cycle later, and you've come full circle and won the prestigious Athlete of the Year award. How would you describe your journey in those years from rising star to top of the world?
Oh, it's been an incredible journey, and I think I was very lucky to have that 2017 season where I won the gold in the 400 hurdles in London, and nobody expected it, not even myself. But it gave me the belief that I was able to perform at the highest level and to be able to win medals. Then I had a bit of a tough 2018. I was beaten a lot that year, and then I got back to 2019 and I started to run really quick, and through the pandemic also was able to train very well, and then 2021 I was able to break the world record at home soil in Oslo. And it felt almost like fate, It's been a lot of hard work, and I think it's also a lot about consistency. That's what I probably learned the most, to have a lot of years to be able to build something. So it's been a very fun journey, and I hope it will continue, but you never know.
Well, we all hope to see it continue.
You never know.
Your event, 400 hurdles, it's been one of the most exciting events on the programme for a few years now, but not just in the men's side of things, but also with the women, with the likes of Sydney McLaughlin, who was also a finalist here for Athlete of the Year, and has also broken the world record this year. And yet, some experts do refer to the 400-metre hurdles as the hardest event on the track. How would you describe that in your own words? Do you think that's accurate?
I've tried a lot of track events, and it's the hardest that I've tried, but at the same time, I think it's impossible to compare, because somehow we all are trying to push our limit, and that will feel like an extraordinary thing for all individuals. But what goes with the lactic, I think it's pretty unique, because it's a little bit longer to run than the 400 meters, and you get a lot of lactic. So the last hurdle, it seems like it's a lot taller than it actually is. So it's a heavy race, and that's also what I like about it, because it brings some X factor into it. Everybody is nervous about the pain that's going to be at the end as well. So and now also with the high level that's there, I think and hope it's good entertainment for people watching as well. And it's very fun to be part of. Oh,
I can assure you. I think a lot of people think they want to try the 4 hurdles until they see you going over the last hurdle. So they see that struggle.
Afterwards.
That's what I'm saying to everybody telling me they want to try the 400 hurdles. You don't know what you're heading into.
No, but that moment when you broke the world record on home soil in Oslo, it was spectacular for us watching, and I'm sure for you it was really special. You knew there was still more to come. We were shocked by the magnitude by which you smashed or pulverized that world record in Tokyo, 45.94. Were you surprised? Did you dream you could run that fast? Did you set any targets to aim for?
I was a little bit on the other side of Elaine here, because I didn't feel like shit that day. Actually, both Bislett and Tokyo, I felt really good. But also I think it's also fascinating because after 2 rounds you always think it's not possible to go out in the final and run faster, and I think also you prepare your body for what's coming, and it's something special about the Olympics. I was there in 2016, but I was young and I felt like I was there to learn. But this time I felt like I was there and had sort of like everything to lose. I really wanted that gold medal, and that pressure and that atmosphere it takes it brings out the best in you. So it was a great experience, and also to see that time, it's of course it's incredible, and I didn't believe it myself in the beginning, but after a while now I think also that's what our sport is about. We are pushing the limits, seeing how good we can be, and hopefully my competitors will continue to push me, and this is maybe the start, who knows, but it's going to take a lot to improve that record. I think
it will happen, but
who knows?
Sometimes
Who
it's a
knows?
leap forward, but then maybe you'll surprise us all next year. You're here in Monaco with your coach live.
Yes.
That athlete-coach bond relationship is a very, very special one. In what way do you work together, complement each other and balance each other?
So me and Life, we are first of all really good friends, and we spend a lot of time together. So a lot of times my girlfriend is really jealous of Life because every time, every evening I call him on the phone, and I say I will only talk to him 5 minutes, and we could chat like for 1 hour, and then she gets mad at me. But I'm trying to prioritize her as well. But let's get back to Life. I really enjoy our relationship, and what's good with it, I think it's communication. I think that's probably the key for us. He's the brain, he's the architect behind this, and I'm the machinery. So we work really well together. I tell him how I feel every day, and he always adjusts so that we find the perfect way to perform. So it's very nice for me to have that professional friendship.
We talked about your guys' performances this year, which have both been so exceptional. But Elaine, has there been anything in 2021 outside of your own performances that's really stood out to you that you've enjoyed watching on the track or in the field?
Honestly, I'm going to be honest. I enjoy watching Karsten race, 45 over 4 hurdles, Most men are running that in the flat 400. So I enjoyed watching that, he's pushing the barrier and the mark. So I enjoyed watching that race. That was a race I was tuning for.
I've got to agree. It's I like seeing people who are clearly having a great time competing, who are going to give everything they've got every single time.
But to be honest, it's also a lot of the same in the 100 meters now. There's a lot of women running fast, and
I know.
and that is also part of the magic, because looking at the race, even though there are a lot of standouts, you're still wondering who is going to win. And a lot of things can happen, and that's also what I think our sport is about. It's also entertainment.
Yeah.
But for us athletes, it's about performing.
Of course, but that's been the great thing about both your events, is every time you guys have lined up this year, the world's watching to see what might happen.
What is coming.
Exactly, what could it be? And we've got a whole other year coming of it next year. Elaine, again, you were born and raised in Jamaica, you live in Jamaica, you train in Jamaica, and you represent Jamaica. Is there a way for you to explain to the world what athletics means to Jamaicans and how much of a passion there is for the sport back home?
I think it means a lot to we Jamaican, As a young girl growing up, making Olympic was my dream. I was watching Veronica Campbell-Brown, Merlin Ottey, Usain Asafa. So we have the Boys and Girls Championship back home in Jamaica. It's almost like Olympics, a mini Olympics for Jamaicans. So I think that's where it all started. Everybody is very competitive and always want to do running. I was doing running from I was probably 6 years old. So to be that competitive from we're in junior age, we think we bring that to the elite performance, where once you turn professional, it's all about competition, being competitive and just making your own brand, making your own name. So I think for us as Jamaican, we just want to put our little island out there, just be on the mark that we are still in it no matter what, because we have a lot of Olympians, World Championship winners who have already been in that game. So for us as a younger athlete looking on them, we just want to be one of those persons, I always watch Marine Atty and she always on the mark doing her thing. So for me as a young Jamaican woman to come and be like them, it's amazing, you know. And I think for Jamaica, entertainment is our culture, like everything, athletics, food, dance. So we put everything in that, you know, the support from friends and family back home. It's really amazing.
Whenever I see there's a meet in Jamaica, the atmosphere
It's
just
really-
looks incredible. I've never
Yes.
competed in Jamaica, but it's on my bucket list. I don't know if
I
you've raced.
think a lot of athletes have that, to be honest. Yeah, I've seen some videos from the school championships there,
Yeah.
and people are crazy. So I really envy Jamaica that, you know, enthusiasm they have for our sport.
We are
so,
very competitive. We
Yeah.
are.
So
Yes.
and there's a lot of great talents there as well. So
Yes, thank you.
seems cool. Hopefully I can
And
go
you-
there one day.
Yeah, and you are such a strong, talented and inspiring woman. And there are so many young girls and indeed young boys all around the world who look up to you, not just in Jamaica, but all over. Is there any advice that you can give to young, particularly young female athletes coming through at the moment, struggling with mental health, body issues, just the expectation, social media? Is there any small advice that you can give to them to help them?
Well, my advice for them, you know, just believe, keep working, stay focused, you know. In this athletics world, it's not an easy one, you know. A lot of person expectation is very high than ours, you know. So when you don't perform at your best, you know, the fans is the one who turns on you the most. So you don't use fans to help. They want to bring you down, but you have to just use your fans as a motivation because they're the one there that when you win, when you lose, so you don't focus on them. The focus is just you putting in the work and just have fun. I think if you're in sports, you just need to just have fun and enjoy it
Absolutely.
all.
I mean, I think it is that. It is,
Yes.
isn't it? Having fun.
Have fun and enjoy it, you
understanding.
know. And just continue to believe and just the work. Once you put in the work, you will get the result that you want. If it takes 10 or 5 years, I mean, it'll take Rome to build in one day. So the work has to go in.
And you talked about the role models, you talked about Merlene. Are there things that you particularly picked up on from them, things that really inspired you or just resonated with you that helped you become the athlete that you have become?
Yes, I watch how they go about doing their thing. They've been dominating from there where, you know, I wasn't a winner from Boys and Girls Championships. So for me to doing what I'm doing now, I think it helps me to see that what they're doing, that no matter what the level or the limit is, you can always do it. So I see she ran until she's like more than 30 years old, up to her 40s. So I think I can do whatever I put my mind to. So she set the mark for all her younger generation that doesn't matter the age or, you know, sport you're in, you still can put your mind to whatever you want.
And Karsten, I believe you train in a small group, but with two other women.
Yeah.
What does the typical training look like for you, particularly through the winter when the weather conditions are a little bit brutal?
I don't want to give away all my secrets, but no, it's mostly about the hard work when we're back in Norway. It's about, you know, putting in a lot of training. And as you're saying, it's not the ideal conditions for sprinting. It's often very cold, but we are lucky enough to have some indoor facilities there. And we also learned to be creative. I think if people saw how we work and the places where we create our results, I think actually a lot of people would be inspired because you always hear you are from there. It's difficult to make it when you're, you know, living long outside the city or whatever it is. Or a lot of people saying it's impossible to win a medal if you're not skiing in Norway, right? So that's also been a part of our motivation, and I think it's also about playing with the cards that you're dealt, and that's what we try to do all the time. And we're also stuck with our philosophy. I think that is also a very nice way to think because all the athletes I speak to, they train differently, right? I think it's also about trusting the guys that you're working with and trusting the plan that you put out for yourself. Because once you get insecure, that's when you start to do the mistakes.
And does each person in the group bring their own special addition to the group?
Yeah, we have one rule in the group. That is, you have to give more energy than you take. And that's the one thing you need to bring to the group.
That's a good rule to live by.
Yeah, I think it's actually very good, and you're a product of the people that you're surrounded by.
That's very true.
Amen.
I've got a good one for you, Karsten.
Oh, bring it.
So the World Athletics Social Team dug out a tweet from Ashton Eaton during the Olympics, referring to you as a decathlete who's just trying out the 400-meter hurdles. Would you ever envisage a return to the combined events? We know you were a great combined eventer back in the day. For those who don't know, you did actually start out as a decathlete.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah, I did. I won the World Youth Championships actually back in 2013 in the multi-events. And Ashton Eaton was probably one of the few athletes that I was really looking up to. So, you know, the combined events and whatever, it's a very nice way to learn how to love our sport, because when I started doing athletics, I just love to do everything. I like to throw things, I like to run fast, I like to run long. So I couldn't choose. And that's how I ended up doing, the decathlon. And after a while, when I wanted to get to the Rio Olympics, I figured, let's try something else. It was actually my coach that suggested it. And we never looked back. And I think was probably for the better. There are a lot of guys that are really good in the decathlon. And I'm not sure if I could be on that level, but I'm really happy to have that background. I think it gave me a base. So I'm sorry to Ashton, but he was a decathlete also trying the 400 hurdles, and he actually did really good. So that also inspired me to see that, it's possible to look at other things other than decathlon as well. So it was cool to see him run the 400 hurdles as well, because he really adapted to it very quickly.
What were your favorite and least favorite events in the decathlon?
So actually, all the throwing. I'm not built of muscles, unfortunately, so I was struggling.
There's no hope for us.
I was struggling a lot with the throwing events, so that was probably difficult. The pole vault, you need to have a death wish to do that thing, and so the problem was I started to learn pole vault and discus when I was like 19 years old. That's too late, huh? So I was really afraid to do the pole vault. I told Mondo Duplantis a lot of times, I don't understand how you guys do this, but you need to start young, right? So yeah, I must say throwing and also pole vault. So there was a lot of events that I wasn't that good at. So the only thing that made me survive in decathlon was, the sprinting and the jumps.
Well, you figured something out now, so I think you'll be all right.
Yeah,
I was hoping he was going to say you like the 1500 meters.
To be honest, it's actually I was actually one of the guys liking it the most, because everybody hated that. So it's also fun, but I'm probably lucky to be in the 400 hurdles now.
And the performances at the Tokyo Olympic Games were so inspiring and gave us so many spectacular moments. The women in particular, across the board, put in performances that will continue to inspire young girls for generations to come. Is there one performance by a female athlete in particular that stands out for you from those games?
Ooh, don't make me choose. I think actually that is a very hard choice. But for me, it's, I have a love for the 400 meter hurdles, and to see how both events for men and women has developed the way it has, for me as a lover of the event, that was crazy to see, and for Sydney to run a time like that, it's very, very impressive. But sitting here with Elaine, I need to say, I'm very, what can I say? I'm not jealous because I really admire you for it, because getting more than one medal must be really, really cool. And, I don't have the chance to do that because the 400 meter hurdles is my thing. But, you're on a good relay team. You've done the 200 meters, the 100 meters, and that is also big respect. Because, because going out there round after round after round after round and performing, that's respect.
Thank you.
The fans love Karsten the performer. Not that they were there to see things in Tokyo.
Who's that? Karsten the performer. Never heard about him.
No, really? They love Karsten the showman. They love Karsten the fashion guru.
Oh.
Well, very stylish.
Yeah. Keep it coming.
Now I'm done, sorry. But what are the things that you enjoy doing outside of sport, outside of what people have seen of you? What do you like to do?
So what I figured very early is that if you want to have very, very good results, you need to be all about doing the job and then also relaxing And that's, you know, that's the hard part, because after training, you know, you're thinking I'm going back to a normal life, doing whatever. But if you do that, it will be very tough to be on the top level. So most of the time, you know, I'm always just relaxing. I'm actually living with my friends, so, you know, we do a lot of video games, watch movies, and talking about, you know, all the world problems. But I also have a big love for Legos, actually. So, you know, I loved Legos as a child. But then, you know, I couldn't get all the Legos I wanted. But now that I make my own money, I just buy everything that I see that I like, and then I build it and enjoy it.
Best one you've built?
So they actually made a Disney castle with all the Disney stories inside of it. So I actually enjoyed building that, because as a child, you know, I watched a lot of Disney movies and I really liked it. So I'm a bit childish as well, but you know, I think it's important to keep the child in us.
I agree. That is a nice sentiment.
Yeah, I think so.
For both of you now, the next 3 years offers an unprecedented chance to grab more titles and medals, with the World Championships in Oregon in 2022, Budapest in 2023, and then all of a sudden another Olympic Games has come around in Paris. So what are your immediate objectives for the next few years? What are your game plans for the future? I'll start with Karsten and then Elaine.
Whoa. I sort of like that there's a lot of championships coming up, because, you know, that keeps you on your toes, and you know that there will always be a chance where you can perform, and that, you know, when you have the medals, everybody wants to be in your position. So all the guys are chasing me now, so I need to be able to perform, and it's all about putting in the work. But at the same time, you know, it's also tough, because you don't get a lot of time to restart the system. And what I was actually very surprised about is how tired you get after something like the Olympics. You know, it's been so many years preparing for that moment, and then it's like, boom, empty, right? And then
Elaine only needed 3 weeks, and then she was
yeah, that's true. You were just out there performing again, so, you know. But for me, I think it mostly motivates me to go out there and try to defend my titles. But you can never promise anything, you know. You don't know what you can do, but anything can happen, and that's why we love the sports.
Pretty much for me, I'm just taking it year by year, you know. It's going to be 3 rough years. So for me, definitely looking forward for the World Championships in Eugene. I have no titles in the World Championship. I do have a silver from 2015. So I'm just looking forward for Eugene, you know. I felt the track, know what it feels like. So I'm looking forward for a good championship closer to home, of course. And I'm just taking it year by year. I'm definitely going to listen to my body, of course. I'm not young anymore, so year by year for me.
You fancy any indoor races? Is Belgrade on your radar at all for the World Indoor Championships?
It's on my schedule, but I'm just working with how my body feels as well, you know.
Sure.
I do need the speed, of course, but I'll challenge a couple and see what happens if I make it an indoor championship.
Do you enjoy the 60s?
I do, but I'm not a quick starter.
Perfect opportunity to work on weaknesses.
I'm going to work on that, of course.
What's your PB?
698.
Yes, it's not a quick start. Don't worry about
Not a good start, no.
And last but definitely not least, Elaine, what is your ultimate goal? We've talked about in athletics, but do you have an ultimate goal in athletics and then again in life? A deep question.
In life, just to be great. You know, I want to be a great athlete or great person overall, you know. In this sport, it has taught me a lot, you know. I've learned a lot over the years, you know. I have never expected I could travel the world, you know. I have a passport, I have a visa, so I'm grateful for what this sport throws in my hands, you know, to be the fastest woman alive. I never dreamed of seeing that, you know. So I'm just having fun right now, you know, because this sport's you're in and you're out, so I'm just living it the best I can right now. I'm just having fun.
And Karsten, you have an ultimate goal in life?
You have 5 hours to listen.
We can edit.
Get comfortable. It's difficult because I think right now when you're an athlete, you're so focused that you forget that there is something coming after your career, and every time I start to think about the life after the career, I get a little bit scared, because right now it's been my life for so many years, and you know, I sort of like sometimes think to myself, the only thing I know how to do is to run one lap with 10 hurdles. So what I can say is that, you know, I think I can always know that I will be good at getting over obstacles, and that will be a nice thing to have on my resume. But I think for me it's about finding a passion, and that's what I like about where I am right now. It's, you know, this is my passion right now, and sometimes in an athletic career you have to move on, right? It's a short career, and then I hope that I can find a new passion, something, you know, that I actually, you know, live and breathe for. So if you have a passion, you don't have to work. So hopefully I will be there. But we'll see. Time will show.
And it's really interesting, because when I asked that question earlier, I just remember now Live saying exactly the same thing.
My coach?
Yeah. Saying that it's all about
and he's
passion.
been doing it for, and he's been doing this for 40 years. So he's all about passion. And I learn a lot from, you know, talking to people that are a lot older than me, because they have the life experience, and it's funny to see how, you know, in life, you know, there just comes chances, and it's also about, you know, coincidences. It's just a coincidence that me and Life met, and we found a good tone. So, you know, it's just to live and do your best, and a lot of things can happen. That's the fun part of it.
Listen, thank you both for speaking so honestly to us. And, you know, I think if there's one thing I've taken from both of you, it's that everybody should be inspired to exceed their own expectations, not just the expectations of those around them, but, you know, both of you seem to have exceeded what you once believed yourselves capable of. So here's to exceeding expectations and breaking even more records. Our male and female World Athletics Athlete of the Year, Karsten Warholm and Elaine Thompson-Herah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing your passion and your feelings with us, and what inspired you to reach for those achievements that inspired us.